I'm Lee Spencer with the Racing Boys, and I'm here with Ryan Preece. And we had an interesting conversation earlier. You grew up racing with what I would call manly men. You didn't learn, you've been helped by simulators and all the tools that go into today's racing, but you can't beat the hands-on experience racing against actual racers.
Racing against true veterans, right? That's what you would say. So, when I grew up, probably about 14 years ago, it was my first time in a modified, and my dad was the first person to preach it. Was just go out there, get laps. You don't have to go and win. You just gain respect from these guys, and then as you go, you would start racing against them, and you learn how to race the right way of racing. And if you race them wrong or did something they didn't like, they'd tell you. You know what I mean? Or they'd just punt you out of the. They'd do a lesson on the racetrack against you. So there was a lot of tricks that you learn along the way too. Is some things when I was a kid in the grandstands, I would watch Teddy Christopher do his deal. And then when you get out there with him, it's like, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to make this not happen to me. And you can use that in all etiquettes of racing. And there's so many different things, situations that arise that are different but that are the same. So I've already been through so many different situations that I feel like my notebook or your toolbox is already half full. And now it's just kind of figuring out the whole aero situations. But as far as racing goes, racing 3-4 nights a week against those guys made me prepared. It made me a better racer. And when I say racer, I mean it's not going out there and starting from the pole and winning the race, because that's totally. I think it's a lot more difficult. What we do in the Northeast is we handicap. If you for 3 weeks, if you win races, you will not start above 15th that following week. So there was every single week I wouldn't start above 10th, and I'd have to learn how to pass. And when you got to learn how to pass and miss wrecks, and because that whole thing plays into this deal, that made me a better racer too. So just there was a lot I've learned over the years. Yeah.
We're kind of talking a little Aretha Franklin, RESPECT, and if you don't learn respect, those veterans will sure as hell teach it to you.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why when I'm at this level, I try to be as respectful as I possibly can. I'm racing my race, so there is a certain point where you got to think about yourself, but at the same time, if I'm out there in practice, I'm not throwing a block on a guy or whatever, because to me it's not worth it right now. But those are also moments where you gain respect from other people, and then hopefully they work with you, right? So that's a big part of it. So it's this is where the Cup Series, you're gonna have what I've had my entire life. You have guys that earn their way here, and you got to earn their respect. It's like building a building. You got to start from the ground up all over again.
I have to laugh because you say that, and we scan the radios, we scan the scanners, and talk to, or at least get the feel of what the spotters are saying, what the drivers are saying, and there haven't been like, oh hell no, here comes that 47, or what's wrong with the guy in the 47. There hasn't been any of that, so it looks like you've been doing your job here.
I'd hope so. I mean, that was kind of the point of, or that was kind of where I wanted to be. Was I don't want to be having people look at my car, like I've looked at people in the past, years ago or whatever.
He said squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. You know what I mean? I don't want to be looked at that way. I want to be looked at as somebody who's out here racing respectful, and just trying to find speed in my car to where I can hopefully race with them. So that's where I am right now, and just gaining respect.
So if you could give me a quarterly report on how the first quarter of your rookie season has gone, where would you grade yourself? What would you say?
B-, C+. I mean, there's always things you can do better. I would say there's been some strengths that I feel like I've had, and then there's also been some weaknesses on the aero side that, at the beginning, the first 5 or 6 races, I felt like we all kind of led down a path, but I've just learned a lot. So as long as I can just keep building on those weaknesses I feel that I have, I feel like we'll just keep getting better. So I'm looking forward to going to Dover. We were communicating a lot back and forth, Tristan, Ernie, the entire team, on what I felt we need to be, or what we all need to be where the 37 is, because as a group, we're all pretty proud of how they've been running. They've been extremely fast at Bristol and Richmond, which Richmond was notoriously a really bad track for JTG. So we just need to be able to close those things off, and hopefully we can get that same speed that they have, and we as a group, as a company together, can kind of be there on a consistent basis.
For a short track guy coming to a track like this, and especially with a brand new package that is unlike Jimmy Johnson said anything he'd ever raced before, and he's been here nearly,
handling was an issue.
He said that the closing rate was mind-blowing, but
was it? Okay, cool.
For somebody who is never seen anything like this, what's the opinion of a short track guy? It's coming to an experience like this.
Well, if you want to see a closing rate like that, go see a modified at New Hampshire, going down the front stretch. That's usually pretty breathtaking. But actually, now that you say that and thinking about it, the closing rate's pretty close to how a modified is. The only difference is we can pull the slingshot off because we have to lift. When you get a car that's wide open all the way around here, it's very difficult once somebody side drafts you and pulls you back, unless you got a guy helping you behind you. But I think it's going to make for some exciting racing. I think it's going to make it more to where you can get teammates or people working together to, hey, let's back up 3 car lengths and set ourselves up, halfway down the backstretch, or, just get yourselves runs again. Bring that whole thing to where you don't have the bubble of air dictating where you are.
Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.